Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, former installation contractor and boutique store owner, now bringing you helpful business advice every week so that you can go from owning a job to owning a business. Nobody wants to stay stuck in a rut doing what they do day in, day out, living paycheck to paycheck. When we started our business, we all had that glorious dream of I'm going to have so much more free time. I'm going to make so much more money. And then you start and you realize that it takes way more hours than you ever thought it would. And you have way less free time than you want. And running a profitable company is harder. We are tackling issues to get you running more efficiently, more profitably, and enjoying more of your free time every week. This week, we have Billy Fritzel joining us. He is based in Fort Collins, Colorado. He opened up his own installation business, Fritzel Flooring, in 2017 after being raised in a family where his father, his hero, was a hardwood floor installer. And, he was picking up a mallet at a young age and getting in there and helping out and doing it to it. So after deciding that college wasn't for him, he went and worked for his brothers for a bit before building the premier installation brand in Fort Collins, Colorado, where he has now decided that he wants to open a showroom, and that has turned his world upside down, I'm sure, at a very minimum. And so we're going to talk about what it's taking for him to even get a showroom opened, why he wants to do that for his installation business and go into full retail mode, and any challenges he's had along the way and where he wants to take it. Before we dive into that and have Billy introduce himself, I want to let you know that we got a quick word from tiletools.com. Attention flooring professionals, elevate your craftsmanship with the finest tools and supplies from tiletools.com. From spacers to saws, we have everything you need for flawless tile installations. Plus, we offer top-notch customer service and fast shipping. As a special offer for Floor Academy listeners, use code FA10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next order. Don't settle for less. Visit tiletools.com today and experience the difference in quality and service that professionals trust. Also, I want to let you know very quickly that registration for the International Surfaces event, or TICE, is open. When you go and register, use promo code KYLE, K-Y-L-E, and you can get your exhibition pass for free. That way you will save a couple of bucks. Go take that money, spend it on a talk, and go get you some education so you can better yourself and your business. That's my advice. We will hear a little bit from, we have some words from Tice that we will hear at the end of the show. That's enough out of me, though. And so let's get to the reason for this all. Billy, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it?
All right, man. Well, my name's Billy, or Wilhelm, depending on how you know me. Born and raised in Grand Junction, Colorado. My father did floor, mostly tile, for a good chunk of his life. I remember being dragged to job sites ever since I was a kid and could hold a mallet. So I took the entrepreneurial route, went to college at Colorado State, did some construction management, figured out I don't need to put myself in debt. Let's just get the ball rolling, and built a business out of flooring. So I've been in Fort Collins since about 2016 and expedited the flooring game from working with my brothers, my dad at times, and then finally branching out on my own, building a business that specializes in residential hard surface flooring, from hardwood, LVP, tile, refinishing, custom staircases. That is our jam. And recently I've been scaling to where being an installer is great. I'm not here to be on my knees doing labor for 50 plus years. So taking advantage of the skills that I know, honing the skills to other people, other young guys that are hungry for the trades, and scaling that, building a business that has the highest ratings in Fort Collins, Northern Colorado, the most ratings in Northern Colorado, and just being super prideful on something that was built from scratch and built to last. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. So I want to kind of hit on this, right? So you were raised in a flooring family. It sounds like your father's still doing installation, right? And he hasn't
Yep.
done the showroom thing or anything like that. He's just a installer doing
He's
installs.
my tile guy.
Okay, so
So he's working for me and my brothers now, and he's primarily our tile guy.
okay. So where did this dream come from to do more? Right? Like I guess that your dad obviously he's done well, right? He could provide for you to go to college, and
Totally.
you had a great life. So what's the I don't know. I think I see a lot of guys chat and they're like, I would never want my kid to do flooring. I want better for them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, this can be great. And look, like, you're a shining
Yeah.
example of that. Like, you went and you learned a skill and it can't be taken away from you. Like, if you have to get on the tools, you can go get on the tools, but you're trying to work yourself out of the tools. And I think that's the greatest thing, is that you were given an opportunity that you can turn it into more than just being an installer. So let me know, like, what are your thoughts on that? Why this route? What was instilled in you to make you not only proud of being an installer, but hungry enough and prideful enough to know that you could become much more?
Totally. So growing up, my parents gave me a lot of great things. One thing that I wasn't accustomed to was picture perfect financial family. I love my parents. My mom and dad are the reason why I'm at this point. They taught me how to survive, how to make stuff happen, how to bend a dollar, how to just get by in life. And, seeing my dad and the work that he did, it always made me wonder, like, man, like, you do such great work, but why does the guy next door not really know about it? So going to college and seeing, like, okay, my paths are pretty limited here. I can try and get myself through college, be in debt for a career that now, commercial construction wise at construction management at CSU, it's like, okay, I could work myself up to 100K salary position, whatever it is, working for
Mm-hmm.
someone else, or I can take what I know in the trades, take a chance in myself, and I can always fall back on college or whatever other career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as I see a lot of young people steering away from the trades, going the college route and everything like that, I know the money that was in flooring. So I'm like, okay, I can work for myself right now. I don't need a crazy amount of clients. I can build on referrals, reputation, and stuff like that. And why not just give it a shot? Worked with my brother, started getting more expertise fine-tuned. My brother does great work with refinishing, custom hardwood, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, pre-COVID came, and I was like, okay, I know enough where I need to jump ship and I need to scale this business. So started out with just me and a guy, Gabe, my original employee, great guy, worked with me, and we were a buddy system, doing the installs, subcontracting for a company up here, and just building up our reputation, our clientele. 1 year in from that, we were the top guys at this store who provides about 20 different flooring companies. We were the number one hard surface guys,
Okay.
hands down the youngest. So now I had a steady stream of income coming in. It's like, okay, I can get more tools, get a better trailer, get some logos, get some work apparel, build a website, stuff like that. So starting out, it's always hard, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's so dang easy if you have money to make money. And that's where I see a lot of young people fault. It's like if you're not coming from financial backing of parents or anything like that, there's no secret to it. You have to go do it.
Yep.
Go knock on doors, go figure it out. Like there is no rule book. Go do it. Go touch the stove by all means. So that was my route with it, man. And as my parents get older, I'm like, okay, it's my turn. Like I've always been ingrained the masculinity to be a provider and
Mm-hmm.
that and God was something that was put in me like this is a great career. I love working on my hands and knees. In some aspects, not all the time, but I still have the freedom to where I don't have to sit behind a desk all day. I get to meet new clients every single week. I get to build my brand. No one
Mm-hmm.
tells me what to do. And it's really, there's no ceiling. It's as far as I want to take it.
Yeah.
So what we've done is out of getting from subcontracting, now we have enough referrals to where we can start getting direct clients. One thing leads to another, the crew expands, no subcontractors, all employees. And then I saw the benefits of like, wow, I can dictate my prices because my reviews are so well. I know competitors in town, and there's actually better money in this than I thought because
Hmm.
I'm used to subcontractor money.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's keep reinvesting this. Let's keep training my guys and giving incentives, and not to knock on the old heads here. I don't have a guy that starts on my crew under $29 an hour.
Damn.
No ifs, ands, or buts. If you are hired by me, you are minimum at $29 an hour. That gives incentive to these guys, and I give them a layout of, hey, you're not based pay on timeline. You don't have to be with me for 2 years to get to this amount. I
Hmm.
tell them right off the rip, the second you're able to understand how to remove flooring, how to install flooring, baseboard, stuff like that, understanding the customer service of this is someone's home, you respect it. If you want to grow with this business, you treat it like your own. And that's it. I'm not going to harp on you for putting his in, being on your phone, changing music, whatever it is. But I give them a layout from the start to where they understand, wow, if I do what he told me to do, everything's up to me. So if you want to stay at $29 an hour,
Hmm.
turn out carpet, pushing a broom, great. If you want to be at commission $50 an hour and having your own work van, it's a clear layup for you. You
Hmm.
know, you show me that, I'll show you that. I'll take you with it as we grow. So that's one thing that we've been doing. I got about 7 guys full time now.
You've been listening to the show for the last 5 years. What have you been doing? It's so fun.
I've been, yeah,
Thank you. Like, no, it's nice to hear someone laying it out like that, right? Everyone, oh, I can't keep anybody. What's their
uh,
path? Why would they want to stay when like they get yelled at and trowels thrown at them, and like you have laid out a clear path of how you get advanced up, right? I know what it's
yeah,
going to take me to get somewhere. There's no excuse, right? It's not that I'm going to come to you and ask for a raise and you're just going to tell me no.
yep,
You can't have that. Why can't I have it? Right? Like, what am I not doing? Oh, I don't know.
exactly.
So
No,
you
from the
have that all
start.
laid out. It's beautiful. It works. Obviously, you got 7 guys
But
now.
it also it works for me because on the hindsight is, a lot of these guys be like, dang, $29, no experience. It's like, yes, but watch how much this guy wants to show up to work. Ask me how many times he's called out. He's been lackadaisical. He
Hmm.
doesn't want to come to work. He doesn't put in effort. Like, ask me how many times my guys do that. They see the plan from the beginning. I'm super fair with market pricing of clients. I'm not expensive by any means, but people also know what they're getting when it comes to Fritzel Flooring.
Hmm.
The quality speaks for itself. If you go look at our Google reviews, we have almost 100 five-star reviews. No one comes close, and this isn't all uncles and aunties. It's actual real clients. Um, so part of starting something on such a strong foundation, including I know what it's like to make $15 an hour racking in 2.25 hardwood on a floor. It's not fun. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I also understand showing up to an estimate, custom home, 4,000 square feet house. They need new floors. I'm able to sell them the product, get the ball rolling, give them a beautiful floor, but reap the fruits of my rewards. And, financially, it's such a blessing, and I don't take it for granted. And every single dollar that comes in, number one, I pray over it for how it comes out. And number two, back in the business, back in the
Hmm.
business.
Hmm.
We just started switching over our trailers to work vans because I didn't like that some of my guys with trucks got stuck pulling their personal vehicle with my trailers around the job sites.
Hmm.
So taking the
Okay.
initiative of a boss who's been there, using their truck, being the cheap guy, understanding how hard flooring can be at times, I took all of that and I molded it into, hey, here's your starting pay. Here's what it takes to get to this. I'm never going to yell at you. I'm never going to tell you, hey, These are the hard times, 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. My guys show up, they clock in when they're get to the job site. They know what times, they grab the client's phone numbers, they clock out, I
Hmm.
don't have to worry about that. And part of that is because, hey, they respect me because I'm taking a chance on them with their pay. And in return, I get these employees who want to grow with the company. A lot of times in the trades, man, it doesn't matter if you're a plumber or electrician.
Hmm.
You get these young guys in there and it's just kind of the journeyman. All right, I tried electrical. That was cool. Now I'm doing business for Amazon, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Give these kids light at the tunnel.
Well,
And I'm not even talking kids, I'm talking grown men at this point to where it's
yes.
like, who wants to just go do that and not see what they could be doing?
Well,
Like
look,
give them a reason to grow.
everyone wants to not going and working at a fast food joint, but you know what happens when I show up at the fast food joint is like I probably get a week's worth of training. I'm going to
Totally.
get videos. I'm going to get some kind of handbook. I'm going to get somebody that like shadows me or I shadow them and they're
Yep.
walking me through everything. And then I'm going to get it laid out of like, this is where we need you in 90 days. You need to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And it sounds like you've built all of that stuff in. And so, yeah, you're taking a chance on them, but you've also clearly dictated out here's what's expected, right? Here's how I'm going to hold you accountable. If you don't make it, then these are the consequences. Where everything's clearly communicated. It's not.
Yep.
I'll be honest. I screwed it up, right? I went and hired guys, and I was like, "Oh, you can show up. All right, cool. Let's do this." And if knowing what I know now, I would not
Yep.
hire anybody that I hired. So I'm
Totally.
assuming there's an interview process, right? You're not just handing out $29 to anybody that shows up to Fritzel Flooring, and you're like, "All right, let's give it a rip."
Yep. Yep. So
So
thankfully,
there's a lot of
actually,
stuff.
a decent amount of our crew members are actually some kids that I went to high school with and grew up with.
Okay.
They came out here to Colorado State. Um, one of them just graduated with a electrical engineering degree. He still works for me. So if that doesn't tell you, like, we have a very neat, tight ship,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not over here micromanaging. I'm not over here being an angry boss. Like, I'm so transparent with this is how you can grow. This is the money you make. This is what I expect from you.
Okay.
Here's the warehouse. Here's your keys to the van. Here's my business card. You know what needs to be done. Now go do it. And then with new hires, we got a new guy coming on right now. And I told all my head installers, hey, when he's on a job site with you, I need you to take your installer cap off, put your manager hat on, and you need to make him how you want him. Because as he's coming with you to these job sites, let me ask you this. Do you just want him to sweep, be on his phone, not do much?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to train him to where he makes your life easier? And now, hey, go knock out that room in some LVP. Hey, I need boxes here. And you don't even have to tell them that
Yeah.
because you ingrained with them and you showed them this is how we do things. A lot of it is leading and not just telling guys, do as I say, not as I
Yeah.
do, right?
Teach them the why.
It literally, if I can unload boxes in my trailer, use my truck, like go do the hard, annoying stuff, there should never be a time one of my employees, thinks that they can go be lazy on me. Like
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
see the standard. We have a great work environment. It's a really good thing that we got going. And now we're just at the point of scale to where it's like, okay, all of our stuff is direct. People know us in town. People call us in town off of referral, off of our
Mm-hmm.
reviews. So it's like, all right, do I stay here? Do I enjoy this? Or what's next? And as I scale, I'm starting to learn like, okay, if I can get into a commercial place, I can now start selling all these professional brands direct to cost at me, throwing margins on them to clients, still being cheaper than competitors.
Mm-hmm.
But now all of a sudden I'm getting calls for, hey, I need 2,000 square feet of LVP in this color. Yep, got it. Here you go. The cash and carries that come with it, the scale that comes with, here's all of our samples. We trust them. We warranty them. We've been through the ringer of many brands. As an installer, this is what we like. My goodness, and you can refer to this. How bad does it suck dealing with products that you don't want to install and how bad the customer service is? Why do you
Yeah.
want to take that on for liability? You know how hard it is with the specs and the guidelines already of an eighth inch over a 10-foot span and stuff like that. It's like, I tell all my clients, first and foremost, you don't need to tell me what you're after. I want to educate you. I'm not here to sell you on anything. Here's these products. Here's
Hmm.
these brands. Here's what to look for. Here's what the pricing tiers are. Here's the differences. From my experience, I don't want to sell you a floor you're going to call me back in 1 year from with separation, stuff's buckling, stuff's cracking.
Yeah.
Why do I want to do that? So if I can set my clients up for success of like, hey, don't be fooled. We sell all brands. But if I
Hmm.
can get you into a Lamborghini at the same price, why would you not go for that? And this is installer backed. Here's my warranty. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Great relationship with reps. And it's like, yes, it's challenging with the scale, but it's so rewarding because it just makes our ship that much tighter of controlling stuff.
Yes. I think that was the biggest thing for me on why I opened my boutique was one, I realized how much money I was losing by not moving product because I had
Totally.
people asking me anyways, right? Oh, what can I get? Where should I go shop? Why am I going
Yep.
to tell them to go to the box store? Why am I going to tell them to go
Exactly.
over here to this store that's run by somebody else when I was like, okay, Phoenix is big. There's distributors here. Like why don't I go find out what it takes to get an account? I'll just sell it myself.
Exactly.
And then so it was that, but I also realized that I was sick of being handed everything. And you hit on this too, right? I don't know that enough people calculate the liability cost, let alone that anyone necessarily charges for it. I've noticed there are a few installers that when they're quoting prices, when we're all hanging out on Facebook and whatnot in the groups, that someone will be like, well, it's $3 a square foot, but it's four if they provide the product. And I'm like, oh, that guy gets it. And the reason being is everyone is out there quoting prices to install. But if the client's
Yep.
providing it to you and the job fails, what money did
Exactly.
you make to back that floor up because you're buying it? And everyone
Well, and
misses that.
that's
Like, you're not just going to redo the install. They're not buying new flooring. The flooring
exactly,
failed because of
exactly.
you, more than likely.
Yes.
Yes, manufacturers. In fact, I've won a couple of claims. Right, like I know
Yep.
that manufacturers can screw up, and they will step up when needed. But more than likely, it's your fault. You're paying. You're replacing the floor. You're paying for any floor prep you didn't do the first time, and you're tearing out and reinstalling. Where'd you make that
That's
money if you didn't
yep.
make money on the flooring, right? So I love it, right? Like, you looked at it and you said, my business is inefficient. I need to
Yep.
improve this. So you're not doing any
Totally.
any subbing at this point anymore.
No subbing. The only subbing we'll do is I still have a great relationship with a store in town, one of
Okay.
their assistant managers. So if he gives us a call on a special job, he knows my pricing, he knows our work.
Okay.
Great
Have
relationship, you
have you
know.
had that conversation with him yet of I'm selling product?
Oh, he knows.
Okay.
He knows,
And they still
you
don't
know,
like it,
and
you've worked it all out. It's cool. And
everything's great. I'm definitely viewed as a competitor around town by everyone now at this point.
mhm.
We're making a good name. Um, but yeah, back to what you're talking about with selling your own product too. One thing for any of my potential clients listening to this, I want to point out, you know, not only is it helping us as an installer of the satisfaction of like, oh man, thank goodness we get to install this brand.
Yeah.
From a client's perspective, you guys not only are getting products cheaper to yourself, but you're getting something from a guy who's been around for 2 generations, who has had the Mohawks to the Cortex to the Pergos. I know my brands,
Mhm.
and all the brands listening, not to point any out, I know where they stand in terms of quality. I know which ones I want in my showroom. I know which ones are out to genuinely be great distributors, honor their products. Why would I want to give my client a headache of hey, we can go with this one. I know you like it. And then understand, wow, this is not a good floor. I already understand that. Plus, if anything happens, I already know that this is on me.
Yep.
So it's a benefit to both sides, the buyer and me as the seller. It's like, hey, this is how much liability I take on. Here's the manufacturer guidelines.
Hmm.
Most of my clients are like, wow, like that's crazy. An eighth inch over a 10-foot span. Like it is crazy. You're absolutely right. And part of the reason we don't do box stores, here's my do not install list, box stores, LL Flooring, RIP, all that. And it's like, we do not install this and it is for your benefit. And a lot of the times, clients think like, oh, well, I saw this in store. It's $3.50 a square foot. Like, great, hold that thought. Here's the same color, $3.50. I trust it. It's a professional brand.
Yep.
So it's not like I'm here to, get you into more expensive flooring.
No.
It's getting you into stuff that is professional and that I trust.
Correct. I want to feel good about it. Look, again, I have to take on the liability.
Exactly.
I want to feel good about it. I want to work with stuff that I enjoy working with because it'll keep
Totally.
myself and my employees happier because they like it, right? I I think all flooring stores need to be in better communication with their installers. Be like, which ones do you like? Which ones can you install faster?
Literally.
Like, why would I want to send you out with something you struggle with every time? Like, let's get that out. Let's
Yep.
get you to something that installs quickly and is still beautiful and lasts. And let's get you in there
Yep.
doing that. And then I can get you on, you'll make more because I can get you on more projects. You're in the client's home for less time. Like, it's win-win for everybody when you
It
really dig
is.
into it. Like, I never understood like carrying absolutely everything. I handpicked at everything, and I had companies be like, "Well, why don't you want that line?" I was like, "It's garbage. It sucks to install. It
Yep.
takes longer. It cracks easily." All they're like, "What are you talking?" I was like, "Look, no, I don't like it. I don't want that. I want that one, that one, that one. The rest of it
Yep.
you can keep. It's all garbage in my opinion." They're just like, "What? You didn't
Yep.
install it. Stop trying to sell it. Go install it."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, I
Oh,
absolutely
totally.
I love that. We're gonna I just we're at a good spot. So we're gonna break a little early here. We got a quick
Okay.
word from Utsen. Utsen has your floor installation needs covered with our extensive range of high quality products. Whether it's our moisture mitigation system for concrete slabs, subfloor prep products, tile and stone installation systems, or our tooling, we have the solutions for your project. We also provide expert guidance to help you choose the right solution, as well as technical support for your job site. Learn more by visiting our website, social media, through the app, or contacting your local rep. And they couldn't make it any easier to contact your local rep. Download their app and you can look them up, and their phone number is right there, and you can call them, leave a message. I couldn't be more excited that they're on board. I love Utsen. Like, probably like my that is my go-to brand. I will not hide it. Like, I'm so excited that they're on board. But they make it really easy to work with them. My rep has been nothing short of absolutely amazing, and I've talked to a couple other reps from across the country, and they're all like super excited and dorky about the product too. That's from what I can tell, it is an absolutely wonderful company that take great care of people, and they'll take great care of you. So go give their stuff a look. All right, Billy. So we're selling flooring. I mean, what really brought it about was, you were just you had that realization, and so it's easy. I think it's easier than most people realize to sell flooring. Like, you can usually find a store that'll work a deal with you, and
Yep.
maybe you don't get the best margins, but at least you can move some product.
Yep.
A lot of people have ProSource in their area. They do the 10% kickback thing, which I think is just a oh, it's so frustrating to me. It's just
There's
not
no
enough.
reason for it. There's no
But
reason for it.
it's I think, if you look around hard enough, you can usually find someone that won't make you have a brick and mortar, but it
Yeah.
may not always be the best products, but you can get products in your hands. So what
Totally.
was the push to get the brick and mortar, and how is that journey gone? Because it's not easy to find a
No,
spot. It's
it's not.
complicated.
It's complicated in a lot of ways. And, one of the things that as we grow as a company, finances are a real thing. So understanding LLC and S corps and how to run the business on the business side to where you can start building a credit score so you can start shopping SBA loans if you need and just all that. Like
Hmm.
in this trade, there's two types of guys. There's self-employed and there's business owners. Two completely different things. So one thing that I'm prideful of is what I've built, and I am so hardwired of not just stopping where I'm at, mowing
Hmm.
the roses. Like, no, it's like, what's next? We perfected this. Let's move on. What's next? And so as I started dealing some product, just as you said, before I had any storefront or anything like that, it was, hey, store that I'm subbing out of. I'm starting to get a lot of referrals and stuff. I see you got this for retail. What's something that we could work out? Because I'll bring my clients in here, buy from you, but I'd like to get contracted pricing on this.
Hmm.
Yep, absolutely. So as that ball started rolling, I started taking some of their sample boards to my house to where common colors already have. People call me, here you go, boom, right in front of you. So starting to see the money of like, wow, I can make money not off just the labor, but now I'm pretty much a broker of floors. How can I continue this?
And it doesn't add that much. I think a lot of people think it adds a lot. It really doesn't add that many more steps.
No,
Got to
no.
order it. You
And
got to
and
deliver it.
again, the only thing too is like you get to control what you install.
Hmm.
As an installer, if you go post on our Facebook page right now, what do you think about this brand? What do you think about a drop lock versus a unit click? You're going to get so many guys like, nope, not doing that. It's like, okay, great. Do you have the control to say that you're not doing that?
Hmm.
Why not? And you don't need a brick and mortar store, right? You can go into places, you can go into distributors. Like out here, we got RW, Palo Duro, stuff like
Okay.
that, where they know their contractors, they'll give you stuff they sell at discounted prices. That's great. What's even better is finally getting the brick and mortar commercial address
Hmm.
and having reps come to you with sample displays, direct pricing, direct shipping to where now everything is a fixed cost. You know exactly how much your margin is. You know what the guys down the street sell this for. Let's go be competitive, be fair to clients, but also make money.
Yeah.
So once I started seeing just kind of the taste of, wow, I see the potential here. Like I stopped looking at, man, it'd be so nice to have a crew and manage the crew, right? I got to that point. I'm thankful for that point. I'm blessed to be able to get there. I'm living prayers right now. But then it's like, wait, why can't I be like a floor and decor, Arizona tile, where I'm full retail
Hmm.
and we do the install? And as I grow this business, honestly, I'm starting to transition to number one, retail, and we do the install number two, not the other way around. So I'd like to say that we're at that point. We're not. We're still,
Hmm.
hey, people usually come to us for the install first, and then it's like, oh yeah, we retail all this. We'll get you product.
To me, I think that's the better way to sell it, right? I want you because it's so
100%.
funny. Like they generally will go looking for an installer before they pick product.
Yep,
So I want to be known for my installs, but I want to sell you product first.
exactly.
So,
And that's one of those things where it's if that starts on day one of building your business, the first review, man, no one's going to call you with a 3.5-star rating and trust you to sell floors or install floors, right?
mhm.
So when I get clients that call me, like, number one, they're trusting me. They're trusting me off of other people that I've worked with. So I am so prideful. I mean, one thing that I struggled with before I created this was the name of my company, right? You see the legacy hardwoods, the
Yeah,
the stuff like that where, there's a rule, don't put your last name on it.
yeah.
I was so prideful, like, this is my baby. I like the FF Fritzel Flooring.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do it. And I was told, like, man, you shouldn't do that. Like, don't do that.
That everybody says that, and even I don't think it's the best, especially if you're looking to like resell it in the future. But let's look,
Yep,
okay? Walgreens, last name. McDonald's,
totally.
last name. Like, you know, let, there's giant corporations, and that it's That's it, right? It's the last name. So does it
Exactly.
really matter? Ultimately, if you build something that can run itself without you present, it has systems and processes, and it's repeatable,
Yeah.
and you can show financially that like when I put X amount of dollars into the machine, it spits out this much. It
Yep.
doesn't matter if it's called this flooring company sucks. It'll like it'll go.
And
So,
that's exactly my thought process on it. I was like people are going to know the brand.
mm-hmm.
People are going to know the brand. And part of that is our trailers. Our trailers are all blacked out. Our t-shirts are all blacked out. We got the logo.
Okay.
Like everything is so OCD with even just before we get in the door, they see the trailer, they see all the guys in the matching Fritzel Flooring shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you enough about what that does to clients right off the rip. Because number one, I'm a young guy, I'm the owner. On top of that, I have young guy installers. So when people
Yeah.
call us, we're rolling into their house to, do $40,000 worth of work. It's like, oh, you guys are young. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, hey, look how we just rolled in. We got our work vans, we got our work trailer, matching logos. Like,
Yeah.
this is our jam. Sit back and watch the show type of thing.
The
And
the branding, the professionalism, the appearance, like it all goes a
exactly.
very long way of putting people at ease.
It does, man. And again, that's one of those things of the difference between self-employed and business owner.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of self-employed guys, go look at some of the Facebook posts of how vans look. And I'm sure these guys are freaking great. Like it's true. But at the same time, how does Kathy down the street trust the guy with the rusted out white van and the dirty clothes smoking a pack of Marlboro versus the guy in the wrapped van, clean cut, polo, matching
Correct.
shirt?
Your stereotypical contractor is nothing to, no one's really looking at him with a lot of affection. But
Yeah,
look, you can do very well. I'm not. It's but you're that's the whole point of the show is that there's a difference between being self-employed and there's a difference between being a business owner. I want to get us
exactly.
back on track a little bit here. So, um, with looking for a spot because finding
Yep.
a location is difficult. One, I want to know, are you looking for just a commercial address? Or are you looking for a flex space so that you have the warehouse so you can get shipments and you have to have the forklift and all of that? Because there
Yep.
really is two approaches, but I think a lot of it depends on where you live. Again, in Phoenix, I can drive my truck down to the distributor. They're going to load me up and they're going to go. But that's also why I never wanted an account with Shaw and Mohawk. Like they would have laughed at me with my 225 square foot boutique showroom because it was an office within a bigger
Totally.
office building. Like that, Sean Mohawk would have been like, "That's not a showroom, right? There's
Yep.
no. Where are
So
you going to receive a shipment? So what are your plans? What are you trying to do?
exactly what you just said, I want to touch on. So I strategically thought about this of like, man, Fort Collins is not a cheap place, especially commercially, where I want a space to have a warehouse and an office
Mm-hmm.
in a primetime location. I don't know if I have the liquidity to front that. Like it's very expensive.
Okay.
I was like, okay, before I put all my eggs in a basket, let's get this warehouse space, primetime spot off of our main street. And it's big enough where we can have a forklift in there. We can set our samples up. Our brand is trusted where I can tell people, hey, showroom's not ready yet. This is our showroom. Here's our warehouse. We have all our samples. And most of the time, oh, great. I literally don't care. Like, give me my sample board. I want to see how it looks in my house and I'll be on my way. So that's the first step that we did was like, okay, before I start thinking about $500,000 SBA loans going into debt for something, especially in this economy,
Uh huh.
presidential election, those are real things that are business factors, right? And it doesn't
Yes.
matter if you're on the left side or the right side, like it's real life. So to challenge that climate as we scale without getting too ahead of ourselves, it's like, okay, let's start small. Let's do a little test run here. Now we have a commercial address where people can come see products and like we're legit in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
We have the brick and mortar. We can have the Shaw and the Mohawks roll through, get our forklift out, put stuff in the warehouse. Like that's legit. It's not pretty. It's not the super badass showroom that we're after, but this is a nice trial to set ourselves up to make
Okay.
that commitment. And that's where I'm at right now. And I'll be honest, it immediately was like, this is so clear, night and day. Like, this is the next step. We need to get into the prime time showroom and remodel it to our standards so people
Hmm.
can see our craftsmanship right when they walk in, all the samples on display, and like from there, it's just let it take us wherever it wants to take us. If we want to
Okay.
franchise out and have stores all across Colorado, if I want to sell the business and have an exit strategy, the opportunities become even larger, right?
Hmm.
Just scaling at larger paces, you have more freedom to do different routes. So that's definitely the thing that we're on. And back to touching on warehouse versus flex space, Kyle's referring to warehouse bay here, showroom, completely different location, or the flex space, which is warehouse, office, showroom, all in one.
Yeah.
Like I said, Fort Collins is expensive. There's no way you're finding something on our main street, warehouse, showroom. Like, I don't have those funds, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, what we did, we have a warehouse, Central Fort Collins. Right now, we are looking all through Old Town, our main street of College, and just trying to find that prime time spot
Okay.
next to other successful retailers, whether it's a restaurant. We're being very picky on the location off
Okay.
of neighborhood income.
So what are you ideally looking for? Because I'm looking at, I have an idea. I found a spot, and I'll tell you why I like it. I want to hear what you're looking for first, though. So, like, you're talking about you want to be by other successful businesses. So, what ideally are you looking to be by? What size? What kind
So
of income
to
level in
get
the
to
area?
give
Right?
you
Like, kind of
the
give me the brief
yeah,
breakdown of the demographic.
so to give you the demographic here, North Fort Collins, more industrial. I don't by all means want to call it lower income, but more of the median income. Okay.
Okay.
As we move to South Fort Collins, custom homes, super nice public schools, very suburb Fort Collins, right? So it's like, okay, if we can go next to some successful dentist office in this plaza, if we can go next to just something that number one brings street traffic, if we're going to spend the money, why not organically just have advertisement?
Hmm.
Yes, SEO works. Yes, Google Ads work, but the sole billboard sign showroom
Hmm.
of people just seeing it as they drive, you can't necessarily put a price tag on that. So as we set up this move, it's like, okay, how can we service all of northern Colorado and the surrounding areas, but still being in that demographic where we're right down the road from our niche market? So that's where we're at is we don't need anything crazy. We don't need 10,000 square feet. Like honestly, we probably just need to start with 3 to 5,000 square feet. And again, that's not small by any means.
No,
Like that's a
it's pretty big.
pretty dang good size.
Oh yeah.
And then just dressing that place up so it can be a reflection of like this is our brand.
Okay.
When you walk in and you just immediately see like, wow, I see what these guys are about. And the cool part that when we do this, it's like, hey, do you see that custom shower over there in our showroom? Your installer is my father. That's who will be doing your work.
Hmm.
Do you see the herringbone site finish Rubio monocoat floor right there? That's going to be my brother who does the refinish. So all these things, like we have it down to a T. It's just waiting to capitalize on the right spot. And I can't preach enough about how important having that right spot is
Hmm.
because eventually it starts to pay for itself. I don't
Yeah.
want to go super north where it's cheaper and people got to find me on Google Maps. And yes, they see the reviews, but it's like, that's a weird spot of town
Yeah.
versus
No, I want to be where it's
biting the
busy.
bullet, eating the cost, busy street, higher medium income where like that's majority of our work is
Hmm.
anyways.
Yeah.
So
Totally agree. I think that there's
that's where we're at.
I've got an idea in my head. I may pull the trigger on it. There's a spot that's about 1,400 square feet.
There you go.
About a mile down the road is Floor and Decor. A mile down the
Hmm.
road the other way is a Carpet One dealer that's been in business for a while. So you're stuck in the middle of them. And then what I was
Yep.
originally looking for is I would love to be by a dance studio. That would
Hmm.
be like my ideal location. I would put myself next to a dance studio or like gymnastics place,
Yeah.
because if I'm like, my clientele will generally have they have kids and they do
Yeah.
activities. Well, how do we go and determine if people have disposable income? Well, let's look at
Totally.
what they're doing in life, right? Those activities are not cheap, right? I want to,
No, they're
maybe I
not.
would go, if I was looking for like more of a warehouse space or something and I could have a showroom on front, maybe I'd go find
Yeah.
like a hockey rink to be by where like, the Pee Wee
Yeah.
hockey happens, because that's not cheap, right? So I'm looking for stuff like that. And so that didn't exist, but this strip mall has eyebrow threading and the nail salon and the waxing place, and
Yes.
it was like all these things that draw in women with disposable income. And I was like, that's a great location. Like, it's in between other flooring stores on a main street
Yep.
in a town that has the type of income and clientele I want to work with, and then it has the locations that bring people in with disposable income that will also be saying, oh, it's right there, let me just go to it. I was like, so
Exactly.
that's what I was looking at, and it is just a commercial space. There isn't any warehouse on it, and so if I
Yep.
were to pull the trigger and do it, again, all the majors would
Finding the
be out of
warehouse.
it.
Yep.
Well, correct. So, well, that brings up another, like, well, what do we do? So all the majors are out the window, but I'm okay with that.
Mm.
It's in a large city similar to Phoenix, and so I could still go pick everything up. The furthest distributor would be like an hour and a half drive, which is a pain, but it is what it
Yeah.
is. You just organize yourself, maybe buy a box truck so you can take more than two
Totally.
pallets at a time.
Yep.
But you know, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at when I'm doing it, is like, okay, how do I spend, cuz I want to keep overhead down. So I want to
Yeah.
spend the least amount of money possible in the best way. But that's what
Yeah.
I was looking at, is where can I go and place myself by things that draw in my ideal clientele, and just so happened that I found something that may actually work. Now, whether or not it's available in a few months when I'm potentially able to make
Yeah.
this happen, who knows? But
No, but that's definitely on the right track, and to go in depth on that too. Part of the reason why we got the warehouse first was we wanted to do the test run, right? So
mhm,
the major brands, the Shaws, the Cortex, all those brands, to start building that relationship, getting their products in warehouse, selling the products to where it's like, okay, we already have delivery set up. We have the forklift. Like, we have
yeah,
legit semis come in, drop their stuff off.
mhm,
Now it's quite literally go easily, patiently, spend the time, find the right location for the showroom. The warehouse is the easy part. We could put that anywhere we want, right? No one's going to go there. That's for us. That's for truck delivery drivers. Like, that doesn't
mhm,
matter. The important part, obviously, being that location of the foot traffic, and it's kind of the ease of, it's so much cheaper having showroom primetime spot, warehouse, wherever,
yeah.
versus showroom and warehouse and primetime spot. You can't even compare the costs. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Well, the it that I believe, and well, I know, and I think I like the fact that you have the warehouse, because you're already generating the revenue necessary to go afford the
Exactly.
retail location, right? It's not a, man, how am I going to float this? What am I going to do? Like, I got to go get the sales, but I don't have the spot for the sales. And so now you've already started generating that revenue coming in,
Exactly.
that you're able to budget more efficiently of, okay, so what happens when I pull out another $4 or $5,000 a month from the revenue every month, and
Yep.
say, okay, I'm going to start paying a showroom bill, let alone if you start doing that now before you find it, just to get used to it. Well, now you've got your remodel budget after 4 or 5, 6 months, right? You can spend the time to pull the guys off a job and pay them for a week and get them in there building it. And
Yes.
it's not going to hurt that you shut down a project for a week and didn't do it because you saved, you know, this is all this is running a business, right? This is forward thinking and figuring out
And
how do I do it all?
that's exactly it. Was correctly doing the order of operations of, like, okay, well, if we get showroom now, that means we immediately have to get warehouse, but also wait to get the products in stock, because now we got to reach out, cold call, all these manufacturers of like, hey, we're up and running.
Hmm.
We need stuff like right now. And then you still have the uncertainty of, are people really going to come here? Is it really going to pay off versus just getting a phone call and me showing up at their doorstep with samples? Like, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's do the warehouse. Let's get the major brands. Let's get the samples all lined up and let's see if we have a swing of clients of like, oh, wow, you got your showroom warehouse. Is it driving enough traffic to justify committing to this overall showroom warehouse idea, right?
Hmm.
Versus showroom, cost to rehab. Now you got to find warehouse. Now you got to get brands. So it's all this upfront cost and uncertainty versus cheaper route of just warehouse and seeing how that is of just how the numbers play out,
Yeah.
if it's worth it to proceed to do the showroom, but then you're still not tied to just such a commitment finances of
Hmm.
all at once. So that's
What's
definitely
it?
our order of operations.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's a good plan. What's it been like trying to pick brands? Because I know that even that is that's what started this.
Um,
Was you went look at you had a question about a brand, and we won't get into it. If you
Are you
want to know,
sure? I will, man.
no, we don't need to. Like if you want to know, you can go look up some old post of mine on Flooring Installers of America bashing a major brand that sells bamboo. Go
Rightfully
go
so.
go look
All
that
right.
out. But
So
I think that's it's
no,
hard, right? Because there's a ton.
yeah.
And so how do you find them? How do you do it? So what have your struggles been there to like get Shaw or Mohawk or whoever to come see you versus working with one of the local distributors that literally, that was the easiest thing for me. As I drove down there, I said, "What does this take?" And they were like, "You do this, and
Yep.
then you pick the displays you want, and we'll get them to you." And within a week, I had samples. If I didn't leave right then and
Yeah.
there with like a handset.
Sample board, yep, everything like that. So as we started reaching out to the Shaws, the Mohawks, and everything like that, it kind of brought the idea of like, man, everyone sells this stuff. Literally everyone. The guy down the street does. And so then we
Mm-hmm.
started taking tabs and we're like, okay, let's go see what this guy sells. Let's see what brands he carries. Now let's go over here and see what they carry. So it's like, oh, you guys literally just all use the same distributor.
Yeah.
Like you all sell the same products. So part of my experience of being a subcontractor, growing up with my dad and my brothers, I have so many firsthand experience of brands that I immediately already had like my few set aside where it's like, I love this floor to install. Let's go
Mm-hmm.
see if we can make something happen. So that's exactly what happened. And honestly, one of my favorite brands is D&M Flooring. Nick, I hope you're listening to this. Um, I installed that flooring in my personal home. That's all my hardwood. It's a over 9 inch wide, 8 foot, 4 mil French oak, white oak plank. Beautiful. So part of that immediately when we got our warehouse, it's like, who am I cold calling? Hey, D&M, Fritzel Flooring, here's my address. What can I do? Oh, great. I can have a rep out to you. This is your territory sales rep. He'll come out to you. I met with him. I was very transparent of, hey, I'm not new to the game just because I'm young. Like I know how this goes. What's your pricing sheets? What's the quality on your product? What's your green guard score, your floor score, all of
Mm-hmm.
that? What's your warranty like? And just getting a feel even for just the rep.
Yeah.
So when I can have a rep who literally, if I called him right now, hey, I'm missing this sample, it's checked out. I got a job right now down the road that really wants it. Can you ship me one? Hey, no need to ship. I will drive right now from Denver, a little over an hour drive, and bring it to you.
Yep.
That dude has my business. Like he has my business. It's a great product. So really just shuffling the cards firsthand from what products do I already know are quality,
Mm-hmm.
which reps are really great to work with that back their product. So after you get a few brands, well, all of a sudden now you got D&M hardwood here, some Opids and Hermitage here. You already have so much hardwood where it's like now we can be even pickier with what brands we want in here because the average client isn't going to sift through 40 wood samples. Like I'm sure between the two brands,
That's it.
they'll find something. You know what I mean?
That was my big thing. You can't put a lot in 225 square feet. But
And you shouldn't have to either.
no, well, that I loved it. People were like, "You don't have a whole lot of options." I was like, "Why do you need them?" I was like,
Exactly.
have you been to the box stores and seen all the options? It's kind of overwhelming, isn't it? They were like, "Yeah." I was like, "I keep it simple. You tell me a color palette you want,
Yep.
and we'll
I got
grab
three to
out the
four right
five or
here.
six boards that you need, and you choose from those. Like you go from five or six down to three. We'll bring three out to your house. You pick the one you like.
Yep.
All of them are, hand selected by me. I know what's good. It's going to work. It's going to last. I believe in it. I'll put a longer warranty than the state mandates on it. Let's do this, right?" And people are, "Oh, okay,
Exactly that.
perfect." I don't need to look at 100 samples. I
Yep.
there's a group on Facebook. These women are crazy. They will take pictures and there's like 70 samples in the picture. Like, I can't choose. It's been a year.
Yep.
Well, no kidding. Like, you're so overwhelmed by it because you have 70 samples
Yes.
to choose from.
Yeah,
Get
and
it down
once
to
you
like
narrow it
five.
down
Oh,
to a color
so
or a color palette,
correct. So
you
much
can't
easier.
really go wrong with
I,
it,
I
right? You
I
know,
love that.
you're showing me these four colors, but any of them like you'll like,
They're all so close, right? Like, it really just, you're gonna love it.
Exactly.
Let me just get it
So
in your house. Don't worry about it. The other thing you said was working with your rep. I think that's, a lot of people, and myself included, right? I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to work with the majors. Like, they're gonna be a pain. I'm not that impressed by them." Da 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 da. It depends on who you talk to. The rep is everything,
exactly.
right? Like, I was going on about my Utsen guy. My Utsen guy Ray is absolutely phenomenal, hands down my favorite rep. Super
Yep.
responsive. Will answer the phone like anytime I call. I rarely ever get sent a voicemail, and he will go out of his way to make something happen for me. Yes, he's got brand loyalty because of it. There's other reps that I've called for other products. They don't respond that way. Well, guess what? I don't use those products. Do they work just as well?
Exactly.
Probably. And maybe somebody else has a great experience with that rep and they're like best buds, and everything works. I think
Yep.
that's, these companies spend too much money. It's not that your product's bad, but relationships go a long way in me believing
Yes.
in your product. And so I think that's very, very important. That it's not just about like, "Hey, I like this product. Am I going to get the service I need to make this product work the way it's
Exactly.
supposed to?"
And again, going back on like the liability thing of now selling the floor, like it's an added liability because you're not just installer, but they bought the floor from you. So now you're double whammied of
Mm-hmm.
if anything is wrong with that floor, you can't blame the store, you can't blame the brand. Like it's all on you to figure out direct with the claims department. So part of being the initial smaller guy, and hopefully we're at the level of the carpet exchanges, the floor and decors one day, but I want to see a rep who treats me with just the same respect as the large stores that are just a number to them, right? Like if I
Mm-hmm.
can get a guy, whether it's Shaw or D&M, small to large brands, like it doesn't necessarily matter, but do you take me seriously and do you want me to actually sell your products and like are you just a good human to work with? There's so many products out there. There's so many brands and I tell my clients this all the time. Like, hey, there's a million brands. It's overwhelming. What
Yeah.
we carry are stuff that we trust and that we have a personal relationship with the company with. If anything ever happens to your floor, I don't even need to hesitate to ask them or let alone know like, hey, it might be on us because I trust this floor. Like the warranty just speaks for itself. And again, just want to touch on the point of you're not getting a more expensive floor. It's just the brand that we recommend. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
Yep. Let me put you in something I'm more comfortable with, and there's a reason for it.
Exactly.
You again, you bring up a great point of, am I going to get the respect I deserve? So somebody south of you, I love James and Tina Solis. They run an absolutely phenomenal company. They've got they went from being installers to having a showroom to now they have two showrooms in different locations. They're down in Pueblo West.
Oh, are they? Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
they're like
awesome.
way south, but
Yep.
they had a rep that wasn't like, didn't pay attention to him, right? Wouldn't give him the time of day, even at like shows, hard to get an appointment with them and all that
Oh,
stuff. And then all of a sudden they started selling more, And they were like, "Oh, why aren't you moving our stuff?" And it was like, "Well, because you won't give me the time of day." But the company that took a chance
Literally.
on them, right, and was like, "Okay, yes, hey, you're small, we're small. We want to help you. We want to help you grow. What can we do for you?" Somebody
Exactly.
doesn't have displays in the shop anymore, and somebody has more floor space. And I'll let you figure out which one is which, right? But
Yep. Yep.
that's it. Again, it's about that relationship. Are you here to support me and help me as a business,
Yeah.
or as a rep? Like, yeah, I get it, you're based on commission. Guess what? I'm a business owner. My life is based on commission too. I either go
Literally.
make some
I don't get
sales
a
or I
paycheck.
don't. So
Literally.
are you gonna help me make some sales, or are you gonna hold it against me and not give me the time of day because I'm not giving you enough business? Well, guess what? I can't give
Yep.
you enough business because you're not giving me the support I need to move your product.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
goes both ways. I get that, but when you don't want to
Totally.
support me, I'm not going to support you, and then you come begging me for sales. No,
Yep.
no, no, no. Nope, we're not going to play that game. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of dynamics here. We should be wrapping up, but I want to know, how hard was it to remove yourself so that you could even go and work on these things? Because you're not on the floor. There's no way that you're on the floor trying to do all this stuff. You're out. You're doing estimates, and how much longer do you even see yourself being the guy out in the field doing the sales calls and the consultations before you're focused on other things?
So thankfully, I am still a young guy, and I honestly enjoy working on the floor. You know, a lot of the times once we get down to, basic installation of LVP, carpet tear out, and I don't need to be supervising. But last week, I was just completely solo, open-ended staircase, custom staircase, balusters, handrails, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I enjoy that. I still enjoy that. So part of the cool thing with our company that I tell my clients, it's like, hey, I'm not just the owner. Number one, we don't subcontract work. And number two, I'm going to be on site, like doing parts of your floor. So I'm not just at my desk all day. I'm not just running around doing estimates. Yes, some days I have to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but dude, I enjoy training my guys when I show up. If I have the free time of just like, hey man, this is how I would do this. Hey, this is how I make that cut. Or there's something super intricate and I got to go run, grab them lunch or supplies. Like, I enjoy that stuff. Now, as we start to scale, thank God I have a super supportive partner. I cannot tell you enough about what a good woman can do for your business and for yourself. I,
Amen.
I can't say that enough, man, and she deserves that credit. So having someone where right now on her only day off on a Tuesday at what 6, 7 o'clock, not one complaint of me being on a podcast talking about what floors. So it's like the samples in our own garage, the entrepreneur of it's so funny sometimes. They're like, wow, like you own the business, like you can do whatever you want. No 9 to 5. It's like, oh brother. Have you ever heard of 247? Like
Uh-huh.
I got clients calling me 9 o'clock at night, emails at this. I'm doing estimates while I'm trying to hang out, watch a movie. Part of the things that I sacrifice right now, and thankfully have someone who allows me to do this and still chooses me as hard as it can be. I get to grow the business right now exponentially versus having children and being further far in life in that way, where, man, if I can crank out the long days right now, if I can be an entrepreneur and just get this shit done, 10 years from now, Kyle, call me again. And I hope that I'm in a different country sipping a pina colada.
That's the dream,
Like,
right?
like that's the dream, and that's
Well,
probably not going to happen because I'm too hardwired to sit still. But it's like, I know the sacrifices I'm making right now. And
mm-hmm.
part of that is I want to be a present father. I want to coach my son or my daughter's teams. So if I can get that out of the way now, have a sustainable ship where I'm not the face, I'm not what runs
Mm-hmm.
the company's its own thing. That's my goal. It's so hard. Sometimes like it's like, man, is it worth it? Like I'm not present with my family, I'm not present here. But I know that at the end of the day, like, man, how cool is it going to be where I can pick up our kids every single day from school, dad's home. Like that is what keeps me going.
There's look, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right. There's a lot. Like if you sacrifice now, it's for something else later.
Yep.
What, there is no balance though. I think everyone and I've talked about
Uh,
it on the show. Like, oh, we want work life balance, and I've done episodes. And even my attitude has
tried
changed
that.
about this over time. And so the it's what I've learned is there. I forget who it was on Facebook. He does some coaching and he has his own business podcast and stuff like that. And he does retreats and whatnot. He made a post and he was like, "There's no balance. You have to go as hard for your family as you do for your business."
That's
And
exactly
that
it, man.
it stung because I knew that I'd been half-assing one or the other.
Exactly.
And
And
so, yeah, like you're not wrong. It's not that you can't build the thing to let you back off a little bit, and then you'll
yeah,
be able to say, like, okay, I have people, they can handle it. It's going to keep going. And you can buy your time back,
but
but
you got
it's
to also
still going
pour
to
it back
be,
into them.
yes, you still are going to have to, there's
And
still going to be business needs. There's still going to be family needs, but you have to go as hard for one as you do the
exactly.
other. But I love that you're
Yeah,
trying to work on this and make there be systems and processes and get people that have the accountability needed to assist you in you being able to back away. I think that's the point of this show. That's why we do what we do over
yeah,
here, is because that's what I want to see is people actually have a business to where they can build what they want. And if you want to be able to hang out with your kids all day and go sit pina coladas on a foreign beach, awesome. I don't think any
exactly.
true tradesman would ever be able to do that because we're all made to move and work.
I
But
can only dream.
if you can do it for a week and then go back to installing,
Yeah.
right? Like you love installing. I would love to see you on the floor while other people are out doing sales and consultations and installing, and you get to pick and choose the product or the project, right? You wouldn't have done that stair set unless you absolutely wanted to do it. And that's the beauty of it is, I'm the business owner. I have to run it. No, you don't.
Yep.
Hire someone to
Well,
run the
and
business. You go do
the
installs.
other
Hold them
the other
accountable.
part of that too is keeping such high reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also hands-on on the job site, so not as much get past me, right? I know
Mm.
how it needs to look. I know the
Yeah.
last walkthrough and how it needs to be presented. So if I can take that extra time to go do corrections, I don't have callbacks. Now it's a guaranteed five-star review, and it just keeps the quality control. And back to something I want to touch on is
Well, okay,
you
but
talked about
who do you get to
yeah,
do that though? How, because you can't do that forever. So how are you going to
I
build the
can't.
system to get you out of that predicament, right?
And that's what I do with my guys right now. It's like it's literally a checklist. Oh, you think you're done with the job? You
Okay.
already know what I'm about to say. And part of that is, did you caulk the baseboard that we just took off and put back on? Did you make sure that everything's dusted down, furniture's moved
Mm,
back in the original picture that we took before we started?
there you go.
Did you go
Yeah.
through the toe kicks? Is the washer and dryer that you disconnected plugged back in and the water's turned back on? Did you check the toilet? Do we not have gaps underneath door casings? Do we have a reason to explain, hey, you had tile in this room,
Yeah.
your door casings are this tall, now it's LVP, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Are we just
Yeah.
ready?
You got
Are we
you
ready
got a
to
list
turn the
for them.
keys over?
Okay.
Exactly. And they know that.
Right
And they
on.
know the standard that we hold this on to because guess what? If we get a phone call, they also are aware that I'm going to call them immediately and I'm going to be on site and like, hey, we need this done right now.
Hmm.
Oh, it's Saturday in the morning. Guess what? Part of your high pay, your freedom of not being yelled at, you also respect me enough where we need to fix this.
Yeah.
I never have one complaint.
No, that's
Never
fair.
one. And again, part of the pay structure, I get guys that are prideful of their work because they want to move up. They want to get perfect five-star reviews on jobs because now their pay increases. Like
Hmm.
looking back on it in hindsight, it's like, man, it's so clear how to make a good employee. Like from the start, it's so clear. So yeah, and final thing that I want to touch on is
Hmm.
you're talking about balance
Yeah.
and how there can't be balance. And something that I've come to terms with. Like that's so correct, man. Because at this point, when you take on so much as a business owner, trying to have a social life, trying to be present with your significant other, your family, whatever it is, your hobbies, only so much time in a day, and there's so much energy in a person. So instead of balance, let's flow. Go with the flow, understand where you're at every single
Mm-hmm.
day. Hey, I neglected this part of my life. Today, I need to make sure that that's a priority. And you can call it balance or you can call it flow because you're just going with life, man. Once you start trying to dictate too much balance, you get in such a routine, stuff doesn't get enamored how it's supposed to
Yeah.
be. Because there's going to be some times where you can go chill at the park all day with your lady, watch the dog, like whatever. There's going to be those days.
Mm-hmm.
There's also
Mm-hmm.
going to be those days where it's a 14-hour day. You're doing estimates, you're on the job, you're closing out bids. Like those days are also going to happen.
Yeah.
So how are you going to do both? Like just flow.
Well, now you're hitting on Bruce Lee, and he says, "Be like water."
That's
So
exactly what it is, man.
no, I love it. I think that's great advice, and it's a great way to look at it, right? Like
Yep.
I can only handle what's in front of me, and I'm the worst, man. I'm surprised I haven't had a heart attack. I stress so bad about things,
Same.
and they're not. Most of the time, it doesn't matter. Like especially
Yeah.
we do flooring. Your house probably
Exactly.
works without the floor in. It's not an
Exactly.
emergency. Calm down. Like we're gonna
Yep.
get to it. So,
Yep.
I I love this interview, dude. I think you have a great head on your shoulders. You've got a great base. I'm super excited to see what you've built over
Heck
just
yeah.
having known you through the groups over the past couple of years. Like what you've built is truly amazing. You should be super proud of yourself. You should be super proud of your team. Let them know that they're like
I
I'm sure you
appreciate that,
do, but
man.
like I know they're doing a good job. I'm sure you let them know all the time, but um it's awesome. I'm excited to like, see this
Yeah.
part of your journey as you move forward and get this all together. But it sounds like it's going right, and you're
It's
making it
happening.
happen. You're finding the things, you're putting them in place. You're holding people accountable, and those are all the little things that make a difference.
Yep.
So congratulations, man. It's super awesome, and
I,
thank you
I
for
I
sharing.
appreciate that, man. I really do. No, it's been a journey, and God is good and keeps me going, man. I got a good support system, and I'm a freak. I love this stuff. I love it.
That's the only way to be. Like if
Yeah,
you don't love it, don't do it.
exactly.
Why go do? I get it that people say like, okay, there's two ways to do it, right? You can do something you love and enjoy it, or you can go do something you kind of can enjoy, and then you
Yeah,
use that to fund your passion. But like,
exactly.
why? If you're not going to find anything fun to do in life, like why? What are you doing?
Yeah,
Like, it's not that difficult. Life can suck and then you die, but there's so many. It's what you make of it,
just
right?
go do it, man.
It's
And that's my biggest advice to young people around me. It's like, dude, you can go listen to Grant Cardone, you can go listen to these entrepreneurs tell you what to do, or at the end of the day, just go try. Just go do it, man. There's no
hmm
blueprint. Just do it. And if you do that, literally trying and failing multiple times, you're so much closer to success than not doing it. Like it's
that,
going to
that's
happen.
it.
It's simple, man.
Well, how many free throws do you got to shoot, right? Like if you've never shot a
Literally.
free throw, you start shooting them. How many are you going to make out of the first 100 versus the last like 100 of a million shots? You
Yep.
probably got pretty good because you practiced and you failed a lot. And I don't like calling it failure. You overcame a challenge and you got better,
Yep.
right?
You
So
got better. You got
you got to
better.
learn. You got to go screw it up so that you know how to do it better, and that's
Yep.
the case. So awesome. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. Um, if anybody has extra questions, where can they reach you? Where can someone find Wilhelm Fritzel?
Man, I love talking shop. My phone is connected to all my business accounts, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, our website. I'm here in Fort Collins. I love this stuff. Give me a buzz. I'm not hard to find.
All right, you can look up Billy and that or Fritzel Flooring, and you will find them.
Yep.
All right, we got a quick word from Tice here, real quick. Hey, listeners, it's nearing that time again. Time to remind you that the International Surface event is returning to Las Vegas, January 28th through 30th, 2025. Mark your calendars now. Floor Academy podcast listeners will have the opportunity to register for free using the promo code Kyle. That's Kyle. Whether you're an installer, retailer, distributor, or serve in another capacity within our industry, attending TICE is a solid resource to expand your knowledge and networking base. You can also learn about the newest technology and industry-leading products coming to market. Stay up to date with the International Surfaces event page on Facebook or visit the website intlsurfaceevent.com. Links for all of the sponsors are in the show notes. Don't forget to check out flooracademypod.com. We got a shop over there. You can get some swag. I'd tell you that you could download some really cool files, but it's not working. So, just hit me up on Facebook or send an email to flooracademypodcast@gmail.com. I know my email address. Don't worry, folks. It's only been around for 5 years. And I can get you that business budgeting worksheet, the job costing worksheet. All right, I got tools. If you've heard about them and you're interested, hit me up and I will email them out to you. If you got an idea for an episode, hit me up. Let's chat. Let's make this industry better. Billy, thank you so much for joining us again. Super appreciate you sharing your story, what you're working on, and how you're doing it so others can do it as well. That'll do it for us this week. We'll catch you all next week.
Thank you, sir.